Hello everyone and welcome to D&D News. How's it going? It is Sweater Week edition of Dungeons & Dragons News today. That's right, I wore a sweater yesterday. That's really it. That's where the story kind of begins. And I can't tell you, about 15 to 20 people, Pelham, Airhorn Green can attest to this. I'm waiting. The air horn is not working. But you know, so many people. There it is. So many people came up and were like, you look so fancy. Are you going to a job interview? Why would I interview for another job when I have this one? This one's amazing. So that was kind of crazy, and I decided to lean in and wear sweaters all week long. But I will tell you that drinking an entire 20-ounce thing of hot coffee with a sweater on, with lights on, it's very soggy up in here, I will say. So the Sweater Week edition of D&D News might have backfired on me, is what I'm trying to tell you. I was in the midst of tweeting about D&D News, so I'm going to continue to do that right now while I chat with you guys. How are you guys doing in the chat? Yes, Lauren, I'm a little bit moist. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what I was literally thinking about what I'm going to do for clerical air tomorrow, if it is in fact going to be the hump day of Sweater Week. I might have to get a really light sweater, or maybe not do the layer of button-down shirt, a t-shirt, and a sweater vest in front of the lights, drinking hot coffee with all of the laughing and hilarity that goes on at Clerical Air on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Or else it's going to be a very fun one. It's hard to say, really. Hot lights, hot coffee, sweater. Yeah, that's right. Evil Emperor Zerg. What's up, Akisha? How's it going? I saw lots of friends here in the chat. I saw Christina Ariel. I saw the amazing Dustin Fletcher in here. Hanselman's in there. Man, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you doing, Hanselman? I haven't seen him since HasCon last year. So what's going on, bro? Good to see you. I will also be giving away some amazing stuff for this here D&D News. This statue, we gave away one of these just in the last hour on Dragon Plus. We'll be giving away another one here on D&D News, in addition to one of these amazing gold dragon coins. Here, I'm making it hard for Pelham to kind of find. But we'll say right here. I'm going to make him go back and forth. Yeah, that's right. This gold dragon coin is upside down. This gold dragon coin can be yours if you win the raffle. So we're going to keep that open for a little while and maybe do a drawing around 3:30 and get ready for another drawing maybe later on. I'm throwing that out there. I might be very generous today because unfortunately we don't have a new episode of Dice Camera Action this week. I know it's very, very upsetting, but there's a bunch of personal things going on. We weren't able to kind of schedule. Everybody's kind of traveling, and so no new episode today. We'll be doing a vodcast of the most recent episode at 4 p.m. Pacific time today. But I'm still here to talk about D&D News, hashtag Sweater Week, and we'll make it all be a thing. So cool. Let me get this tweet out the door, and then I can start talking to you about lots of the fun stuff that's going on that doesn't involve TwitchCon. So me and Bart talked a lot about TwitchCon during the last hour on Dragon Plus. I ran through the entire schedule. It means pretty darn robust. There's a lot going on, so hopefully you guys were able to check that out. I'm talking about how the D&D News Sweater Week edition is live now on twitch.tv/DND. All right. Giving away stuff. It's always fun to tell people about that. A statue of a wannabe demon lord. That's what Belafos is. I don't know if you guys know that. He's a Baelor who wants to be elevated to demon lord status. Not really the not really someone you think is going to be on the up and up, honestly. He's not necessarily a good dude, but we shall see. So we're going to talk things that are happening, and there are a lot in Dungeons & Dragons. One thing that we haven't talked a lot about, but we want to make sure people know is out there. Acquisitions and... Actually, this is not Acquisitions Incorporated. This is Adventures Outlined. Dun, dun, dun. That's right. I have the actual physical copy here. In the past, when I'm over on the other side, the other studio, I will show this live, but now Pelham is here and he can do it. Bom, bom, bom. So this is the cover. It is a D&D coloring book with illustrations, all by Todd James. They are great. They have kind of this iconic comic book style to them, and they're able to be colored in very easily. My daughters love everything that this book is able to bring, and coloring them in. And then, of course, there's amazing, this is the Gibbering Mouther, of course. There's amazing, I keep going back and forth when you're doing that, sorry. There's text here written by Adam Lee that describes what's going on in the facing pages. And this one I can't read because it's not facing me and it's not big enough. But many an adventuring party has been hired to kill a Gibbering Mouther that was accidentally conjured by a careless wizard. And you can tell in this line drawing, you know, hey, the Gibbering Mouther is pretty gross looking, but once this comes to life with crayons and the coloring, this is going to be a fantastically disturbing monster, which is super fun. I love there's little tidbits about them all throughout this, and I like how Adam Lee took the artwork by Todd James and extrapolated out characters that may not have even been there. For example, this one is a Marrow, and it's called King Glurblurb, which I don't think Todd James, when he drew this, knew that it was going to be named King Glurblurb. But Adam Lee was inspired by what was going on in this picture and wrote up a beautiful snippet that fits directly in with Dungeons & Dragons lore. So I love it, and I want more people to get it out there. It's perfect for adults and children alike to be able to draw and color and get a little bit of D&D lore in the process. So check it out if you haven't already. We know a lot of people will be buying gifts. It's getting to be that holiday season. It's October. I can't believe I'm talking about that already, but it's on a lot of lists and a lot of people's thoughts. We have a lot of products coming out in November which are specifically designed for people who might be excited about Dungeons & Dragons and how it is bridging all kinds of gaps between different people in the communities and things like that. So I love it. Check it out if you can. Endless Quest books are out and about. 4 of them. They're awesome. Written by Matt Forbeck. Pick Your Path adventures. I won't go too much into those right now because we've talked about them a bunch, but they're fantastic. Also great ways to get people into the brand. We, of course, have Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which I have right here on the table, as well as some fun artwork as well. And then that's where these coins come in. I opened it up to this page because I loved how the currency is here. I know you probably can't see very well, but whatever. The currency is there. And Waterdeep Dragon Heist is obviously a fantastic story set in Waterdeep, a metropolis in the Forgotten Realms. Lots of great storytelling possibilities can happen there, including what happens in the book. But I also love that I'm hearing from people all over the community that are going on side quests, talking to fantastic characters who live within Waterdeep, such as Durnan, Merc the Moneylender, and those are all detailed in what's going on here in the book that we published. But there's a lot of creativity going on in the other things as well too. So I want to keep talking about Waterdeep Dragon Heist because it's one of my favorite adventures that has put out for 5th edition, and I'll be playing it much more. And what's even cooler is that it is continued, or at least the idea of adventuring in the city of Waterdeep is continued with a more in-depth dungeon book called Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. That book comes out on November 2nd in game stores. It'll be everywhere on November 13th, and it details more than 23 levels of Undermountain, the domain of Halaster Blackcloak, a mad mage, the titular mad mage of the adventure, and it's the perfect way to transition from what's going on in Waterdeep Dragon Heist to what's happening in Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Here we're showing off the back of the adventure, I think, for the first time. I don't know if anybody has seen what the back looks like. It's not like it's like too crazy interesting or anything like that. But you never know. When you see it in the store, this is what you're going to see in the back. And again, that'll be in game stores on November 2nd. Looking forward to hearing what people do and how they deal with the large amount of gold infusing into the campaign from Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and if they use that to fund expeditions into Undermountain, well, that makes all the more sense. And then we have tons. God, there's really so much. I'm like picking and choosing some of the stuff because I feel like we've talked about it so much. We are talking about Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and that is a new story slash setting book. It's got everything that you need to play Dungeons & Dragons set in the world of Ravnica, from Magic the Gathering, the lore that goes on there. This is the first product that is going to be a crossover between those two, not necessarily pieces of IP, because Dungeons & Dragons IP is not necessarily representative in Ravnica, but you'll be able to play using the Dungeons & Dragons mechanics in that world, and it's pretty robust. What goes on in Ravnica is fantastic. If you're already in kind of an urban fantasy setting motif using Waterdeep Dragon Heist, it's a perfect way to also incorporate some of the fun stuff that's going on in Ravnica, which is a world or plane, as they say in magic terms, that is an entire city. It's an entire urban landscape ruled by 10 different guilds, and it's fantastic. I can't wait to get more people into that. If you haven't been watching The Broken Pact, they had their debut episode on Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. They are a good group of role players, dungeon mastered by Ruben Bressler, and they are using some of the material in Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica right now, getting in all of the story of what's happening in Ravnica and using it as a D&D party. So proof is in the pudding. Watch that show if you can. They'll be at TwitchCon performing live from the D&D booth and the Magic booth, as well as talking to some of the writers involved in the Ravnica world setting book on a panel right before that too. So I know Dungeons & Dragons fans may not know a lot about the lore of Ravnica, but it is worthwhile and super interesting, and I've been having a lot of fun speaking to Ari Levitch on some Lore You Should Know segments about the different guilds and what they all mean and what their philosophies are all about. So good stuff, great able to mine for story hooks and all that things. So check it out if you can. All right, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Dungeon Mayhem. I'd be very, very sad. I got the physical thing here. There's actually the actual, you can put up the artwork for it as well, because it's super great. But it's a small package. It comes with 4 decks that you can use to play Dungeon Mayhem. It takes 2 seconds to learn how to play this game. It's really not that hard at all. The iconography is really great, and that's where a lot of it comes from. So these are the art cards for Sutha, the Skull Crusher, and so you play these, and yeah, there's 2. Dun dun dun. Snack time. That's one of my favorite cards because she's just very excited to eat some snacks. So as you can see, there's iconography. Or put that back up. There's iconography on the top right there. And that's all you need to know how to play this game. The lightning bolts mean you can take an extra action. The cards with the plus symbol means you draw a card, and the heart symbol means that you gained a life. And then there's other cards here that deal damage. Those cross swords are the damage dealing. See? Big axe is best axe. Super iconic there. Here, let me show you some of my favorite ones from the Wizard. This is Cunning Action, gives you 2 extra things. Stolen Potion. I dropped it. It's funny, you never really see, Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel just dropping their stuff, but that's because they're professionals. Anyway, it's a really fun game. I can't wait for people to check it out. It is Sweater Week, so that means that you should be checking it out while wearing a sweater. It'll be out in game stores on November 16th, and everywhere on November 16th, rather. So don't wait until it's not in a game store. If you're interested in a game that will get people into playing and interacting with some of the D&D IP, this is the best way to do it, honestly. Like I said, it takes so simple to learn. It's really deep, though, strategically as well. It doesn't feel simple. It feels like there's a lot going on in the 4 different classes and the different play styles that they represent. All feel very different, so there's a lot of replayability. The artwork by Kyle Farron is really evocative, colorful. It's fun, and like I said, I think it's a great way to get kids, families, new fans involved with Dungeons and Dragons, and it's a small amount of buy-in for a large amount of reward. So check it out. November 16th, that's when it'll be out. 2 to 4 players, so if you just like playing with your partner at home, this game is perfect for that. You add in a few people, it's just the same. And it adds, there's some political machinations. You're like, oh, we'll attack this one person until they're out and that type of thing. And then as soon as you're done playing, you want to get right back into it. So I've said my piece. It's deliciously fun. It's moist and delicious, that Dungeon Mayhem. It really is. One fun thing, Art and Arkana is a fantastic book that is coming out next week. That is right. It'll be out on October 23rd. I believe that's a Tuesday. That's next week. It is a visual history of Dungeons and Dragons as told through the artwork, the marketing materials, as well as photographs of the creators. It's super robust. There's so much information about the, I don't have a copy or a piece of art for you, sorry, but maybe you can find one. Oh, yeah, it's all right, because I don't want to spend too much time on it. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. If we go and get it and then come back, it'll take too long. But we think that you should go do that in stores if you can. Check out the game, the book itself, because you will be amazed at the wealth of information that's in it. Some stuff that I didn't even know. Some stuff that some of the luminaries who work on the Dungeons and Dragons game didn't know until John Peterson, Michael Whitwer, Sam Whitwer, and Kyle Newman were able to unearth some of these great stories. And like I said, it's just a wonderful visual history that goes all the way through. So check it out when it comes out next Tuesday. It's only $50. Which seems crazy for a 400-page book with 700 pieces of art. There's a special edition out there as well, and I respect the creators for making sure that price point was low enough so that people could get it at without going crazy. And if you want to splurge, the special edition has got an amazing amount of extra material in there. Including a reprinting of the original manuscript of Tomb of Horrors, some artwork that's blown up that you're able to kind of show in kind of poster format. It's in a beautiful clamshell presentation that is designed by Hydro74. He also did the covers of Xanathar's Guide, or the alternate covers of Xanathar's Guide to Everything and Volo's Guide to Monsters. So if you like those, they continue throughout. And I think you should check it out. I will be doing a town hall in Seattle with those authors on Tuesday, October 30th. If you're in the Seattle area, come check us out. We'll be at the University Lutheran Church with those folks. Me, Chris Perkins, and Jeremy Crawford will be joining the 4 authors on stage talking about that. And since it's so close to Halloween, if you want to wear a costume, you will be entered into a contest to potentially win some amazing Dungeons & Dragons stuff. So Seattle area folks, come check that out if you can. And again, those 4 authors will also be in the booth at TwitchCon on Saturday, October 27th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So you can watch them talk about it live in person with us at that date as well. I'm going to take a breath, okay? and then maybe pass out. What's this, Greg? What's this right in front of you? What is that? Well, these are amazing spell effect miniatures. What's a spell effect miniature, you say? Well, it might be a little bit, get some light in there so you can kind of see. There you go. These are from our friends at WizKids, and if you play with miniatures and you want to represent what spell effects look like on the board itself, this is the product for you. These are miniatures of all kinds of spells that you can cast in the game. And I'm going to read some of them. So there's Bigby's Hand is in there. There's Spiritual Weapon. A Mage Hand is represented in there. Here, actually, let me show the back, because that's actually got a lot of these all things in here. So, yes, Mage Hand. Now I can't read them, but you know they're amazing. All the Bigby's Hand spells, the Spiritual Weapons. I love all this because you're always looking for something to represent what a spell looks like, and especially one that has like a permanent form. So these kind of do that. There's not only just those, but there's also these walls. These are especially useful because usually you just end up doing a squiggly red line to depict a wall of fire, or a blue one if it's a wall of ice. But here you can actually make it denoted on your grid as to where that spell effects begin and ends. And I think that's fantabulous. I can't wait for these to be used and really show off the creativity of the tactical side of D&D play. But even if you're not using miniatures for the tactical use of it, I think these come in handy because they, and all miniatures really, they bring out the imagination and then the creativity. They kind of make it a focal point. So you're like, you can imagine what a wall of fire looks like, and that's still super valid. But having the physical representation of what it is and what it looks like in reference to where your character is, I just think is super great. And there's some people who say like, oh, theater of the mind style, you don't need to have these type of things. And of course, you don't need to. But again, they provide that focal point for everybody in the game around the table to have the idea of what those appear like. So I dig them. They're available now, I believe, in game stores. So if you start looking for them now, you might be able to pick them up and add them into your game pretty quick. All right. Oh, another fun thing I want to make sure I show everyone. But before I do that, I think it's time for a raffle. What do you guys think? Let's see if we got a winner. Who shall the winner be? Have you... Oh, Bigby's high five. That's right, Bigby's high five. Let's see. We're going to do a raffle right about now. Ish. Let's see. Woo! Ooja Skirl. Ooja Skirl. There you are. You win. You get this amazing Belafoss statue. One of these, Dragon Coin from the Gold, as well as an Extra Life t-shirt. Congratulations. Thank you so much. You are all really good people for sticking around and being a part of this. We are going to do one more raffle. I'm doing it. I'm doing it one more. What do you think, Pelham? You think that's a good idea? Yeah. All right, we're doing it. Pelham Airhorn Green says we should do it, so I'm on board with that. We'll be giving away another Belafoss statue, as well as a gold dragon coin and an Extra Life statue. Maybe we'll throw in some fun stuff, like a D&D mug that we'll pack. The mug, the handle just don't break off. All right. Maybe even you'll get a copy of Dungeons & Mayhem in there too. So we'll do a drawing of that right before I sign off. Again, those of you who might be coming in to watch Dice Camera Action, unfortunately we do not have a new episode of Dice Camera Action planned for today at 4 p.m. We will be doing a video vodcast of the previous week's episode. We are gearing up for TwitchCon, so we will have an episode most likely next Tuesday, setting the stage for what's going to happen on the live Dice Camera Action stage during TwitchCon. That will be on Sunday, October 28th, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. It will be broadcast live from the twitch.tv/Twitch channel. That's right, the main channel of Twitch will be having Dungeons & Dragons play on it, which is super fantastic. We'll be hosting from this channel as well, so if you want to congregate with your Waffle fam, please do so on this channel. We'll be hosting it. But it is very exciting. We might get more and new fans paying attention to dice camera action who may not have seen it yet before by having it be highlighted on the Twitch main stage. So that's pretty exciting. And to commemorate that, or maybe because of that, or as a big part of why we're doing it, we're having 4 guests join Dice Camera Action on October 28th. We've had 1 guest on Dice Camera Action before, maybe even had 2 on an episode. I don't think we've ever had 4, so this is going to be pretty exciting. WWE superstar Xavier Woods will be joining the game in costume. Malik Forte, a commentator for esports as well as a host on Nerdist, he will be joining in cosplay. We will also have Felicia Day, that's right, co-founder of Geek and Sundry, not to mention an amazing role player and actress in her own right. She will be joining the Waffle Crew on stage. And Vivid Vivka, who you might have seen on Sirens of the Realms or at the Stream of Many Eyes cosplaying. She will be on stage as well, and that's really exciting. So the 4 main cast members of Dice Camera Action, in addition to 4 guests, Chris Perkins on stage in costume, with props, with sets, with a brand new extension from D&D Beyond, not to mention some amazing production quality brought to you backstage by Pelham Airhorn Green. Are you going to have an air horn there at the thing? I think that's a yes. I think that's absolutely a yes. And Benjamin Looms, the composer and co-creator of Sirenscape, will be there giving us all of the background music for what's happening during the Dice Camera Action live show on October 28th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. So trying to get you guys all hyped up for that as a thank you to following the Waffle Crew on each week of their adventures. Again, we're sorry we're not going to have a episode today, a new episode today at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We will be running a vodcast of the previous week's episode, but you have the amazing Twitch live show during TwitchCon to look forward to with tons of fun guests. So check for that. It's going to be off the charts. I was going to say chain, but you don't really say off the chain, right? You do say off the chain? No. After an hour and a half of talking, you kind of realize that you don't know how words work. You guys ever feel that? That's why you should never talk again. So back to what I was saying. The D&D calendar on previous D&D news is that the plural for news? I've been talking about the D&D calendar. It's an amazing thing. I'm going to show it to you right now. You ready? Boom, shakalaka. Look at it. Look at it in all of its glory. That's right. That's the cover of the Player's Handbook. And it's a 4-month calendar. So this is actually hanging up in my daughter's room right now. She's 7 years old, and she's the coolest daughter in the world because she's got this calendar hanging. But I love the stylings of what each of the months look like. This is a 4-month leading up to 2019. And then here in January, you've got it. I love the addition of the polyhedral dice in there. And then the awesome piece of artwork from Volo's Guide to Monsters. We're going to show you some February, or did I skip a page? I don't know. That's Joe Manganiello's favorite character, Tiamat, devotee. Arkan would love to hang this in his boudoir. Is that a word? That's in March 2019. And here, I'll show one more just for the funs of it. Oh, this is the cover from Skag, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. This was painted by Tyler Jacobson, and I really love this depiction of the heroes of Dungeons & Dragons. So this calendar is now available online because you can get it. I didn't know where you'd be able to get it before that. So I just talked about it. You might be able to buy it at calendar kiosks and stuff in malls. But now you can just purchase it direct from ThinkGeek, and I think you should if you are in the market for a analog calendar. And I'm not sure many of us are in this day and age, but some of us still do like having this up on the wall. you can get it now at ThinkGeek, and I think we're going to throw some links in there in the chat so that you can purchase it right away. And I'm thinking just from this broadcast alone, we're going to sell 2 copies. So good on you guys for doing it. But I love this, and I'm going to be showing it off for years and years to come. Even when it's out of date, when it's like 25, I'll be like, you got to get this 2019 calendar. It's so good. All right, so next up on my fun list, I am wearing a Death Saves piece of merchandise. Can you guess what it is? See if you can find it. See if you can find the Death Saves piece of merchandise here on display for you all. Boop, there it is. Boop, there it is. Yes, this Beholder pin is available now in the Death Saves website. That is Joe Manganiello's, what do we call it? Merchandise, apparel. There's lots of great T-shirts and stuff on there, and I love it. It was one of my favorite pieces that they put together. So you can get that now. This pin was an exclusive from our friends at Han Cholo for New York Comic Con. So you're not able, unfortunately, to get this online anywhere. That was an exclusive. But I hope you go to other events and look for the Han Cholo booth. Brandon and Genevieve from Han Cholo are fantastic and do good work. So look for those when you go to events. But you should also check out the Death Saves website. They're putting up new designs all the time, and would look forward to that. So I'll be wearing more Death Save stuff in the days to come. I mentioned Sirenscape already, but I didn't get a chance to spoil something that's pretty near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to do it now for you, because I'm just that kind of guy. Unless I can. Do I need it? Yes, I can. All right. I don't know if it's going to take me a little bit to get this set up, Pelham, but hopefully you'll be able to hear it. What should I start with? Should I start with the transformation? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Did you hear that? Bling! All right. Let's see if you can hear this.
If we must.
Nope. I'm not going to tell you exactly what that is. You're going to have to guess.
Good.
Who said that?
Very well.
Oh, that's a giveaway. That's a giveaway one.
Yes, very well.
Oh.
Very well.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Very well.
Very well. That's exciting. I hope everybody checks out what is in Sirenscape. Those are sounds that you can use in your game. Not only is there the different buttons for the different chapters that are in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So if you're like, say, in the first chapter when you're finding Floon and you go into the old Zablob shop, I'm not spoiling anything. This is first chapter stuff of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. There is a preset button for what the old Zablob shop sounds like. Any of the quoted text, not even the read aloud text, but anything that's in quotes in the adventure, Ben Loom's recorded sound of people saying that dialogue. And if you're the kind of dungeon master, you're not necessarily comfortable portraying any kind of voices or things like that, you can use these settings to quickly just say like, oh, that's what you hear, and respond to that and then improvise off of it. It's a nice way to set the stage. I like to, in the past on other D&D newses, I have put Chris Perkins doing some lines as Volothamp Gadarn, and it's this great way to bring people into the story, and I dig it. So check out Sirenscape if you haven't. It's really easy to integrate into your play as a dungeon master, and there is a wealth of sound packs that integrate fully with Waterdeep Dragon Heist that I think you should check out. Ben Looms did a fantastic job. He was here in the Wizards of the Coast offices, recording lots of dialogue. So you'll hear some people that you might recognize, some people you won't recognize based on all of the the audio engineering that goes on to change up their voices. But there's a lot of great Easter eggs in there as well for you to find out. Ben Looms will be at TwitchCon. You'll be able to see him use Sirenscape live, which is always exciting for people to see the person who composed the stuff and created the app play it live. He'll be doing it from the D&D booth, starting, I think, on Friday at 10 a.m. with the game that Jeremy Crawford is running. He will be playing as a character, but he'll also be providing background music dressed in a bard costume. And then he will also be potentially wearing that same bard costume on stage during the Dice Camera Action Live show on October 28th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Sweet. I mentioned WizKids has already got the spell effects Arcane Fury and Wall of Fire and Ice. That is complementing their guild, their Waterdeep Dragon Heist Icons of the Realms miniatures. I've opened up a bunch of those on the stream previously. Characters that I just mentioned, such as Mert the Moneylender or Durnan, are represented in miniature form in those right now, as well as some fun ones like just Noble and Merchant. Things that you would encounter, NPCs that you might encounter in Waterdeep are represented in those minis, so check out those blind boxes if you can. And then Icons of the Realms Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica miniatures are coming out right now. So those include miniatures of Magic the Gathering characters. I've gotten in trouble here on the past about talking about D&D news and how this is the first time miniatures from Magic have been recreated, and that's not technically true. There was a miniatures a board game or a war game that used, that had the Planeswalkers in miniature form. But these delve more deeply. They're all pre-painted, and one of them is Niv Mizzet, the red dragon who is the parent of the Izzet Guild in Ravnica. So pretty excited, good-looking miniature of what the dragons look like in Ravnica. So check them out if you can. Gale Force 9's got Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments out there. Those are, people who use miniatures like to paint using miniatures and specific paints. Never before have there been D&D branded paints, but those are now out there and able for you to use. There's some specific miniatures that are included in those packs, including Minsk and Boo, which is fantastic. Always great to see. And then the owlbear miniature that is included in the monster paint set. I've heard a lot of people say that it is one of the best representations of what an owlbear might look like in miniature form. So if you want to jump into painting miniatures, here's a great way to start. Speaking of Minsk and Boo, I wanted to make sure everybody knew that issue 2 of the Rick and Morty versus Dungeons & Dragons comic book is out now. You can get it. This is a 4-issue series written by Jim Zub and Patrick Rothfuss, and illustrated by, I want to say Tony Little? Was it? Troy. Very close. I had one letter off. Troy Little. Fantastic storytelling in here. If you're a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, there's a lot to love in here. You don't necessarily need to know anything about Rick and Morty. If you're a fan of Rick and Morty but don't know anything about Dungeons & Dragons, why are you watching this Twitch channel? But there's great crossover for both fans. If you're a fan of Rick and Morty and a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, you're just gonna love the chocolate and peanut butter mix that Patrick Rothfuss and Jim Zub put together in this comic book. It is robust. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I'm a comics fan. I never really used comics or read comics in this kind of format before, but it is like I've always read them in like graphic novels. Is what I'm trying to say. I didn't read them in this smaller form factor, but the artwork is really great, and it just feels like a much bigger and larger story that's being told in these pages. And when I spoke to them on Dragon Talk with Shelley, it sounded like they try to pack in as much storytelling information as they could in the page count that they had available to them, and you can see it. You can really tell. It's awesome. Speaking of comic books, from IDW. There's not a lot of details. There's been some teases out there, but I also want to give a shout out to B. Dave Walters and Tess Fowler, who are going to be creating a new series of Dungeons & Dragons comics from IDW. Hasn't officially been announced yet, but you might have seen it on the Twitters, and you'll get more details from that coming up. But wanted to make sure they got a highlight because they're awesome, and I can't wait to see what storytelling they bring to the table for a new comic book series. Look here as well as on our Twitter page, Facebook, for more information on all that. Cool. You should check out Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms if you haven't. They are doing fantastic stuff with characters from Dungeons & Dragons, as well as all of our streaming shows. You can play using characters such as Jarl Axel, who is depicted as a potential antagonist in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. You can use Holly Conrad's character, Strix, in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Diath Woodrow. You can play as Evelyn. You can even go Paulton. I believe all four of the You can go as 3 of the 4 members of the Waffle Crew. I might have spoiled something. But it is pretty fantastic, and it's a fun game. I know I see Pelham Airhorn Green playing it all the time over on his desk, and you send out these adventurers. There's many more than I just listed, but you can send them out on adventures. They take on monsters, they get XP, they collect gold, and I've never seen as big numbers as what you can get in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. We're talking multiple exponential amounts of gold that you spend on leveling up those characters, creating the perfect party dynamic, and continuing to send them out. It's one of those games that can play in real time, so you can just let it go and earn all of the XP, and monsters come back and spend it and make it more optimized for your strategy that you're putting forth. So. Great game. If you haven't watched Binwin Plays Idle Champions, I suggest you do. That's Mr. Scott Kurtz playing as his character in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, Binwin from Acquisitions Incorporated. And you can see him do that on Tuesdays at it's 11 a.m., right? Noon. 12 noon. All right, we are getting 10 minutes almost done here. I'm probably going to go right up until 4 since we don't, unfortunately, have a Dice Camera Action new episode coming this week. Just scheduling wasn't able to get all of the cast members ready to play. We will be back, I think, next week, October 23rd, to make that, set the stage for the amazing live game that's going to be at TwitchCon, October 28th, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time on the main Twitch stage at TwitchCon. Lots more coming from Dice Camera Action going up. We still have a raffle going, so you have about 5 minutes to enter that raffle. We're giving away this amazing demon. It is a Baylor. We call it Belafos. It can be sent directly to your home. If you win the raffle, we'll also be giving away one of these amazing, I'm trying to get it in the frame, I'm not even sure why I'm doing it, but a gold dragon coin that you can only get from us right now, and it is going to be sent to you, so hopefully you'll get that raffle. Enter !raffle to get a entry into that. But I said you can only get these coins right now from us because you will be able to get them very soon from an amazing company called Beadle & Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. They are making the Waterdeep Dragon Heist Platinum Edition of the adventure. I'm putting this right by my Adam's apple, which seems strange. Hopefully you don't see the scarring from the pimple that I had on my Adam's apple yesterday. But I love using these artifacts and having a physical representation of what a gold piece looks like in Waterdeep. And you can get this as well as some other props and artifacts in the Platinum Edition. It just looks fantastic. Blown up artwork, miniatures from WizKids to allow you to use in all kinds of storytelling scenarios within the Waterdeep Dragon Heist storyline. It comes in a very attractive looking box. I can't wait for people to get it and crack it open and see what is inside. It is fantabulous. So Look for that, beetleandgrims.com. They will be including one of these Gold Dragon coins, I believe, in their box. So you'll be able to get it that way, as well as through us giving it to you, if that sounds like fun. I love what Matthew Lillard and his company is doing, putting that together, and we'll be highlighting them more as we talk through TwitchCon and what's happening there. So exciting stuff. I'm going to real quick talk through what's happening on streaming before we close this out with a drawing of that raffle and seeing who wins one of these gold coins and a demon. So today, again, we have no dice camera action today. A new one. We'll be having a podcast, so feel free to stick around. 7 p.m. tonight is Sirens of the Realms, episode 3 of season 2. Dungeon Master Satine Phoenix. Hi, Satine, if you're in the chat. You are amazing and has been doing wonderful stuff with some new cast members and some returning cast members. So Cynthia Marie, Christina Ariel, Kelly Lynn D'Angelo, Kenley Shea, and Siren Bro, Jason Charles Miller, and Kurt Kesseris. All great role players in their own right, and they are returning for episode 3 tonight. Last week, they recruited 2 new band members, and they began to follow the clues to find their missing band manager, who was played by Satine Phoenix in the podcast of Waterdeep promotion. I think she might be alluding to what happened in that storyline with this episode and what's happening there too. So their first clue that they have to research is a sewer monster list. I wonder what that means. You'll find out tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Sirens of the Realms. Tomorrow, that is Wednesday, starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be hosting D&D Beyond. Adam Bradford and Todd Kenrick are talking to a special guest this week, Marisha Ray, who played Keyleth in the previous cast of the Critical Role show, Vox Machina. She will be coming in to speak with those fine gentlemen. I don't know if you know, but she also did some of the pronunciation guides on D&D Beyond for what monsters, or how to pronounce monsters, as well as some other key names in there. So I'm sure they'll be talking about that, as well as what's been going on with the Mighty Nine. At 2 p.m. Pacific time is Clerical Air. That's the weekly show that I'm playing in with Dungeon Master Lauren Urban. I play as a character called Faben, who cannot see, but he is still having madcap fun with all of his cast members. I love that show. We're all very good aligned characters, wading through the politics of the Dung Sweepers Guild in Waterdeep. We're cleaning up that town, one pile of horse dung at a time, and trying to plant more green spaces. That's our only goal. Get more trees, because most of us are devotees of Myliki, the goddess of nature, and a lot of the plot has hinged around that. Last week we encountered a dryad and kind of solved her little puzzle that she gave for us, and we're able to talk her down. So she was an amazing character, of course, played by the Dungeon Master Lauren Urban, and there's so many different threads for all of our characters that I can't wait to see where we go next. So watch that, 2 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. I'll be there. And then we're hosting the season finale of Acquisitions Incorporated tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So watch Kate Welch, D&D team member there in the game Dungeon Mastered by Mr. Jerry Holkins, and her fellow cast members Ryan Hartman, Amy Falcone, and Chris Straub. And they'll be taking a little bit of a break after this episode. So this is the way to kind of see what the final adventures of the C team are for this storyline. All right, on Thursday we've got Encounter Roleplay, Learn by Play. Last episode, the Heisters, as they're calling themselves, found out the fate of their interns, and Flinrick had a change of heart. So Dungeon Master Will Jones takes on Jay Tallsquall, Sydney Shields, Lindy, Greg, and Mythmatic. Shout out to Jay Tallsquall. I know he really needs one of these D&D mugs in his life, and every once in a while when I'm drinking from a mug, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta send him a mug, and I will do so at the soonest convenience I possibly can. Sorry about that, buddy. It'll be coming to you very soon. In fact, everybody gets a mug. Y'all get a mug. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Everyone in the world will get a D&D mug. We'll see about that. 1 p.m. Pacific time, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. If you're interested in anything about that game, go watch that show. There's typically a special guest with Dylan Wilkes or Chris Dupuis, former team member here at Dungeons & Dragons. So give a shout out to them if you are watching that at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We're rebroadcasting Waffle Talk. They won't be able to talk about the most recent episode, but maybe they can talk about what's going on with the hype for the D&D live show for Dice Camera Action at TwitchCon. Trapped in the Birdcage should return at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and then we'll be hosting Critical Role at 7. D&D Beyond will have a full recap of what happens on each episode of Critical Role, so if you haven't checked that out in the past, please do so. And then Friday at 10 a.m., we've got the Beamdog Developer Stream. Roll20 presents Waterdeep Dragon Heist follows that at 1 p.m. Pacific time with Dungeon Master Adam Coble and an amazing cast, including Blue Jay, Violet Miller, Dave the Human, and Random Tuesday. Quick note, I'll be talking to Blue Jay next week during Dragon Talk on Monday, so that's exciting. She will be at TwitchCon as well, so we'll be talking about what's happening there. I've never been to a TwitchCon, so maybe I'll pick her brain as to what's happening and find out more. And then, of course, we have our new show on Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, The Broken Pact, that is set in Ravnica. So if you're interested about what's happening storytelling-wise in Ravnica, there they are. They're amazing. You should start watching that show. They're only one episode in, so you can catch up now and watch live at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday for episode dose. And on Sunday, Rivals of Waterdeep returns at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Dungeon Master Carlos Luna takes that amazing cast of Tanya DePass, Brandon Stennis, Serena Marie, Sharif Jackson, and Cicero Holmes through a great storytelling moment in Waterdeep. Tanya DePass is now a Beetle & Grimm's affiliate, so if you're interested in ordering one of those, I suggest you watch her stream and find out how to use her code to save money off of their a purchase from Beetle & Grimm's. We'll be doing a special 1-hour Dungeon Master's Guide Q&A with Satine Phoenix at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday. That's a newish thing. It'll be a Q&A kind of session talking about what the art of dungeon mastering is like. Check that out if you're interested in having a dialogue with Satine. That's, again, at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday. I suggest you watch that live if you want to participate in that way. But of course, there will be video on demand as well as pushing that to YouTube later on that. And then the finale of Hell's Bells will be at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday. That is Dungeon Master Maz Mataz with some amazing players. Hadil Al-Masari, Kayla Klein, Chloe Sconron, and TK Johnson. I can't wait to see where that story ends up as the Tieflings battle it out in Sigil. Good stuff all around. I'm finally going to end this D&D news out with a raffle. That's right. We will be giving one more package away of the Bellefosse statue right here, a Waterdeep dragon, gold dragon coin, and a Extra Life t-shirt will be coming your way to one lucky winner. Let's see who it is. Rick Blum. Rick A. Blum. Congratulations, sir or madam. You are the winner. So Lauren Urban, Oboe Crazy, or Pelham Airhorn Green will reach out to you and get all of your information, all of the winners from Dragon Plus, and the two winners today from D&D News. Congratulations to all of you. And keep in mind, we'll be giving away all kinds of fun stuff on our D&D streams going forward. So always check in when you see us go live at twitch.tv/DND. You have been fantastic for these last 2 hours. Thank you, everyone in chat. Again, no new Dice Camera Action episode today. We'll be running a vodcast directly after this. So for the previous episodes, a good way for you all to catch up. You are all fantastic people, and I will see you later. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Greg Tito, or on Instagram if you like pictures of happenings in West Seattle and what's going on in the D&D world. I sometimes do some fun delves into old Dungeons & Dragons modules. So I'm on Instagram at Greg_Tito. But, Twitter's always a thing out there too. Let me know what's happening in your lives. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here next week to talk through what's happening in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. So thanks for listening and or watching and or chatting.